My name is Emily Ortman, and my title is Clinical Trial Assistant Line Manager. And so half of my job is managing all of the CTAs in the United States, and then the second half of my job is helping to manage some of the clinical trials at argenx. So I was working at Mass General in Boston, and I felt like I really wanted to change its pace. I had kind of done everything that I could do in the hospitals without deciding to get a PhD or an MD, but I wasn't really done working in clinical research. And so the way I went about it is I really just reached out to a bunch of my different connections on LinkedIn, also via friends, and I just started talking to people. My advice for somebody breaking into the biotech scene would be to talk to as many people as possible, but also to be very transparent and authentic about it. Most people love talking about themselves and their experiences, and inherently I think every conversation can be really beneficial because you learn more about what you like, what you don't like, what their career trajectory was, what their day-to-day activities are. And so really engaging in people and being authentically interested in their past and in their future, I think goes a really long way. In addition, you never know who's listening or what their connections are, and 9 times out of 10, one connection leads to another connection, which leads to another connection. So really, if you're trying to break into the biotech industry, especially if you're coming from something really outside of that frame of reference, I would highly recommend speaking to people and just getting a better picture for what it looks like, and also the different roles within biotech company. And I think what's really important too, depending on where you're coming from, the titles are very different. So for me, if I just typed in management into biotech and I just picked a bunch of roles that had the word management in it, it wouldn't really give me exactly what I'm looking for. I think it's way more important to focus on the company and the people you meet at the company, as well as the job description and the job content over, the title or even necessarily the salary. I think really making sure you find the right fit for your day-to-day work is really important, because all of the different titles vary from company to company.
My name is Aurely and I work as a legal counsel at argenx. That means that I support the teams, I give advice, teams across the company, and therefore I think it's really important that you spend time on internal networking as well, making sure to spend time with people, get to know them, understand their business, their strategy and their goals. And my tips would be to really make sure to reach out to them, to connect with people in the company, to make sure to spend face-to-face time at the office whenever you can. So prior to joining argenx, I actually worked as an external counsel advising companies on IP matters. So I kind of switched from an external position to an in-house legal counsel role. And I would say for people who were also considering that switch, or actually making that switch from an external counsel role or an external advisor role to an in-house role, is to really focus and pay attention, spend the first weeks that you join the company on really fully immersing yourself in the company's activities and not just the perspective that you're coming from. And then the second tip that I would give is to really break free from your external advisor role. You're used to providing or giving 3 recommendations, for example, and then you let the company you're advising decide on what position to take. But when you're really going or going for an in-house role, it's really important that you can decide based on your company's perspective.